DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Monster Energy, eSport Management, Windows 10, Omen by HP, and GGBet.
Welcome back to Rotterdam. We're here at the Ahoy Arena to see 8 teams face it off to try and win the DreamHack Open here in the Netherlands. It's our first time here in Rotterdam, and so far it's been fiery, but maybe a bit one-sided in terms of our 2 opening matches from Group A and Group B, because Avangard beat Besiktas 16-2, and then Force just beat Assyrian 16-1. But coming up next, we've got a match that might just be a little bit closer in terms of the scoreline, because we've got our second Group A match, and it is going to be between Heroic and the newly rebranded Hard Legion. So let's take a look at Group A. As you can see, Avangard are going to face the winner later on today, Blair.
Yes, they are indeed, and I think this is the other match. If you look at the other game, which is going to be happening in Group B later on, it's going to be Havu against
Crazy.
Which are 2 teams who are in kind of a weird spot. At least Crazy are in a weird spot. But if you look at these 2 teams playing today, Extreme Eaters, they had a rough time with their org. They left their org. They have a new team right now, new org right now. And then of course we have Cadian joining Heroic. And what a story it's been for these guys in Pro League. They've been looking really good indeed. And I'm looking forward for this one. I think it's going to be a cracker.
I am too. I'm so excited about this Cadian addition to this Heroic. As you mentioned, they have been on a not just an upward trajectory, but kind of just like whoop, straight up forward. But yeah, Cadian, I remember watching him back in NA on that Rogue lineup, and Rogue, as you know, they had a bit of a struggle in NA, and since Cadian joined, he was able to kind of pull the pieces together and make Rogue somewhat relevant, somewhat competitive in NA, and towards the end there, really a contender for a top NA team. And since then, he's now joined this Heroic lineup, and man, it's been beautiful to watch.
Well, let's look at the map vetoes before we talk more about Heroic, because I could talk about Cadian for days. Very excited to see him back on the pro scene. Not that he really went anywhere. What are we expecting in terms of the maps, guys?
I think it's going to be a Train new ban coming out. It's going to be default bans coming out for these 2 teams. Train getting banned by Heroic. They did play it against Vitality, but that's a map that Vitality never played. It was a surprise pick coming in the best of 3, so I don't see them bringing it up here against Hard Legion. So I think Train and Nuke are going to go out of the picture. Same thing with Vertigo and Mirage. I do believe it's going to be down to Inferno, Dust 2, or Overpass.
I have to agree with you. I'm looking at that Inferno or Overpass is probably going to be more than likely.
I think it's going to be Inferno. I'm disappointed to see them ban Train, because I'd like to see them take a risk in a best of 1 and really see what Cadian can do. And to see Snappy calling that map, I think it's going to be really interesting. But yeah, Inferno banned.
That's interesting. So that leaves Duster with Overpass, right? I think Duster is a map you don't want to play in a best of 1, so it's going to be Overpass. No surprises there. It's going to be a banger of a map. Overpass is a map where you want to see teams like Heroic, like the Extreme Eaters guys play off against, because it's going to be much more entertaining. And I'm definitely seeing a much more closer affair than what we saw with Avangard and Besiktas.
I have to agree, and I think it's no surprise that their first veto is that Train. We heard in that interview with Cadian at the EPL saying they never even practiced Train. It was their first time getting into that server, getting in that map, and he was even surprised that things were just kind of falling into place and they were able to make it all work.
Or maybe it's going to be a signature map for them in future, but not today, it looks like, unless they win. Maybe they'll pick it later on today, but again, probably not today. But first of all, we want to talk more about Heroic. So it's been all changed for this team recently, because we had Snappy and Borup come in August, because unfortunately they said goodbye to Nato before the player break. And then we also had Cadian come in after Blame F left, but then they already had Snappy. So in my mind, I'm going, when did Snappy start leading? Because Blame F was a good caller for them, but maybe they already knew he was leaving, Blair.
Yeah, and also Snappy is a guy who, I mean, he's like pretty old in the scene. He's been there for a long time. I think he's more than capable of taking the in-game leading reign, so to speak, right? I think it's been great. And for Cadian coming in, it feels like we've been seeing Caden playing professional CS for ages, but he's still pretty young. He's just 24 or something like that, and he's been around for so very long, bringing that experience, just dedicatedly opping. He's not doing any calling duties. I think the role in his team is great. You have the youngsters in S-Attack and Staven, two rising stars. Staven especially, he used to play in the Fraxters lineup, the Danish lineup, a bunch of kids, and now he's playing in Heroic. And I think if you look at each of these players individually, I think it just fits perfectly. Borup is the only guy who hasn't really delivered, I feel like, but he's very young right now, and I think as long as he's doing his role, that's more than enough.
And speaking a little bit more about Snappy, I mean, he was one of the three in-game leaders coming out of Denmark. We have the Glaive, we have the MSL, and it was Snappy starting in 2017, 2018, who made the move over to NA, joined that optics side of things, and that project, it had a little bit of its ups and downs, but Snappy is certainly an in-game leader that has a lot of experience and a lot of skill coming and following up behind him. And I have to point out once more, Staven, this young 17-year-old coming out of the Heroic side of things, he had so many clutch rounds, so many beautiful plays coming out of him, and the confidence coming out of Staven is something I love to see.
And that's the thing about, like, Snappy just touched upon, like, he is one of those fragging in-game leaders as well, right? It's not, I don't know what's in, like, Danish water, but, like, so many fragging in-game leaders just come out of that country, and yeah, I think everything just looks so good. They have Lome, I think that's how I pronounce his name, is their coach as well, and just looking at the way they've played the Pro League, and even before that, when Caden was standing in for them, when Blameth had just left, when he was just kind of, like, trialing for them, they were looking really good online as well, so they're a team to really keep an eye out for in this tournament.
Well, hopefully we'll get some more chances to talk about Heroic later on in the tournament, because right now we need to focus on Hard Legion, who have also undergone changes, but not in their roster. In fact, it's been a little bit dramatic, because Dream Eaters, the organisation, lets go of their coach Zonar. The squad themselves are like, but we like Zonar, we don't have a problem with him. Zonar joins Hard Legion. The Dream Eater squad leaves Dream Eaters, kind of float around as Extreme Eaters for a while, and then finally they actually do join Hard Legion, and that's where we find them here today. Their first roster under this org, Blair. But what are we expecting from them? Because they had a bit of a miracle run, didn't they, at the Major?
I don't want to take away too much from it, but here's the thing, right? They are a team who usually shine against their domestic opponents, right? They have these wins against Fours, against close games against Spirit and all these guys. When it comes to playing against a higher level of competition, yes, they did manage to make it to the Major, but they did come out at last, right? They came 15, 16 if I'm not mistaken. And it's more like they have this best-of-1 wins. And when it comes down to, going through the best of 3 against a better team, the team has struggled quite a bit, right? But in this best of 1 in particular, especially looking at the way the maps are going to be, and it's a best of 1, they have the explosiveness, don't get me wrong, like you have players like Krad, you have Kinky, you have Sidvat, I think that's how you pronounce his name. It can work, it can click, but the problem is when it comes down to if they do make it to the playoffs, that's when they tend to struggle quite a bit when it comes to best of 3. So I want to see them finally kind of like break that label that people have given them, saying, yeah, they're just like one-hit wonders.
I have to disagree with you. I think they have to embrace the label. They have to embrace the fact that today is a best of 1. They understand that they have the edge. They have the best of 1 upsets under their belt, and they had those performances where they overperformed. And I'm looking at Speedak. This is going to be Overpass. It's a very op-heavy map. He's a very significant opper for this side of things, and so he's going to have to go into this understanding that they are the underdogs. This is a best of 1. Anything can happen, and have that any given Sunday mentality going into this BO1.
I also am wondering a bit about Hard Legion and that parallel with Force, right? Because Force start showing up when you have Little working even more closely with their in-game leader, with Jerry. And that seems to be what happened with Hard Legion. With Sivat, he came into the roster, I think, most recently out of those players. Obviously, he's been with them for a significant period of time now, and working together with Zonar, introducing that discipline. So before they were a bit puggy, and now they're pulling things together, and it's showing up, it's working for them. But they're playing Heroic, and Heroic have only played 2 tournaments with this lineup.
Yeah, but I love the fact when 2 in-game leaders come into a lineup. It forces you to confront issues within your team. You've got 2 strong personalities consistently, not so much arguing, but just theory crafting back and forth and what they believe their philosophy should be, what they believe their protocol should be. And having someone disagree with you within your team, of course it can be negative because of the impact of arguments or disagreements that could happen. But in the end of the day, when you have those different mentalities coming forward and you're able to focus and become and be on one page together, it can be a really strong asset for you.
And it's also a sign of maturity, right? Like once you realize just because someone disagrees with you, it's not necessarily them saying you're crap. It's like, hey, why don't we try to mix our ideas to come up with something even better? So I think that's a sign of maturity that certain teams start developing the more they play at a higher level of play.
So Potter, would you say then, you've mentioned Speed4K on the AWP, he is going to be a key factor for them to be able to beat Heroic on Overpass? Meanwhile, I guess we're expecting Cajun to show up as well.
Yeah, Kaden really surprised me with his AWPing. I was especially on Train, where he was just running around getting kills at will against Vitality, a team that is a really, really good team, right? Yeah, I think it's going to come down to, I don't want to just say the AWP battles, but I would like to see a little bit more aggression coming from Dream Eaters. They can't give too much respect, too much of map control towards Heroic, because if you give that, Snappy's going to be calling a lot of fakes, double fakes, maybe even triple fakes, and that could be a problem for them.
Absolutely, and I think Cadian does bring a different presence with that AWP to this lineup. He's not going to be known for his flicks. He's not going to have as many clip moments as you might see from Zaiwu, but Cadian knows exactly how to have the high percentage plays that's going to put the W's on the board for each round, right? So he's going to be beneficial for this lineup on the Heroic side of things, and Speedak is going to be kind of the opposite of that. He's going to have the flicks. He's going to be a little bit more forward and a little bit more aggressive, and I think Hard Legion absolutely need him to step up on this overpass.
But Blair, you say that Cajun's AWPing style is a little bit weird.
I wouldn't say weird. It's exciting to see, right? Yes, he plays it right, like he plays it very default. He will hit those shots, doesn't take too many risks. But when it comes down to going for these clutch plays where he has to make a decision, do I stay or do I take the fight, he goes to the right call every single time, at least in the recent games I've seen. And that's really cool to see someone, and that comes with having played at a high level for a very long time, these micro decisions where you don't really have time to really think, and it's kind of instinctual the way you approach the game, right? I think that's something he brings to the team. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, if Heroic do get the W in this best of one, then I'd be really interested in talking to Cajun. Not because I haven't seen him for a while, although to be honest, that is kind of a reason, but also because I want to find out what it's like for him actually getting to play the AWP without having to in-game lead. But right now, I need to get your predictions. Do you think we're going to be talking to Cajun at the end of this best of one, Potter?
I think so. I think on paper, Heroic have no reason not to win this. They had such an amazing performance at EPL. They should just be able to carry on right into this tournament, everything that they learned over there. And this should be an easy match for Heroic.
16-2?
Maybe not that easy.
All right, yeah, I agree. It's got to be Heroic. I just feel like it will be a little bit more of a closer affair. I said in the previous game as well, but this time I'm very sure Dream Eaters will at least put up a fight, but it should be Heroic all the way.
I am going to say Heroic as well. I'm going to say 16-9, because I like that aspect ratio. Yeah, I'm here all weekend, unless I get fired. So let's greet our casters again, Launders and Scorny. Twitch chat again, you've come up clutch. Okay, Legion.
Twitch chat has been trolling us all morning.
I love it.
Yeah.
69, they got it.
As I said, never change Twitch chat. But am I being serious? You'll soon find out. Right, let's head over to our casters. I want to get their predictions. Boys, what are you thinking for this matchup?
Legion. Yeah, you know what? Let's make the divide.
No, you know what? Cadian came over here and shook our hands before the game started, so he's won our votes.
I think
never wash them.
When Dream Eaters made upsets and waves at the major, I kind of I bought into this. I bought into them, and then I thought this was going to be the new Quantum Bellator Fire. But I have hopes for this. I think they're a LAN team.
I just want Vince to eat more boots.
Yeah, that's he is here. We could do it live. It was up.
You're Canadian. You can't be mean like that. You just said they're the new QBF.
Are you stereotyping me?
That's one of the rudest things I've
Are you trying to put me in a box?
Oh, we're making a lot of assumptions here.
We're going to hand over to you because I'm disgusted, quite frankly. Right, let's get into Overpass.
I think
that was dramatic.
I'm actually a little worried she's going to come around the corner now.
Yeah, she could. She's fast.
We're not too far apart.
Small but fast.
I'm spooked. But no, okay. In all seriousness, Heroic's online recent play was really convincing, and then they went to the ESL Pro League LAN environment, right? Because that's how they're doing their leagues now, and they qualified. They took a map off. They beat a series versus NIP. They took a map off of Vitality. And then they got themselves all the way through in the Decider BO3. So it's exciting to see them transition what was a honeymoon online period into a little bit of LAN success. And now they find themselves at an independent event where they could possibly take home the championship.
Snappy's a really good IGL. Cadian's a huge factor. He comes in. No coincidence that they start winning as soon as that happens. But Snappy has a really strict game style.
Yeah.
So I love that they're winning and he's able to call the way that he normally does. I think that's huge. I think it's been a long time coming for Snappy. He's been on teams that look like they could be the next Astralis in a few months kind of thing at periods. And finally, he's found a roster where it feels like they're on the right track. And I always say this, people talk down about honeymoons. You better hope there's at least a honeymoon. I think that's always a positive thing. And that doesn't mean that because you have a honeymoon that you're going to fall off a cliff after that. They can continue winning.
Right.
And we'll see if that's going to be the truth here today at day 1 here of DreamHack. Heroic going to be going up against Hard Legion on Overpass. Esatag taking the first peek, sees a lot of feet, and will fall back.
Big push. Esatag can't hit a headshot. Finally will. Tease can't clear him. Finally, Forrester just going to get it. We've got these prolonged duels all over the place, but the HP is going to favor Heroic at the end of it, and the headshots from Snappy really make that difference. Can Crad claw his way back, seeing as he is playing 1v3? He's anticipating some kind of a short peek. There you go. Clean fight. Doesn't lose any more of the health that he is already low on. And it doesn't seem like Cadian wants to get into this fray at all. Down, out from Monster, now Cadian peeks. And as he does so, takes him down. Pistol to Heroic.
Very close. Yeah, that was nice. Nicely played, though. Good kills. Snappy on short. Esatag there to stop the B rush. They all contributed a little bit. It's not a complicated strat from the T side, but it's a typical strat you can do that'll work some of the time. You throw it out there every once in a while, and it makes sense. Here we're in real gamer mode. Chest to the desk. Arm perfectly spaced with the keyboard out. Monitor up close to the face. Drenched in G Fuel. Monster.
Looking like a liege.
Looking like a liege. The boy genius.
Whoa, utility damage, deadly. 15 health for Crad on that Deagle. Single flash for Sviat. You know, I think like Heroic's success and qualifying to EPL is one of these things that it kind of takes, I think, a little bit of the attention away from Hard Legion, because if we have to ask ourselves who is favored this weekend, I mean, you automatically put Avantgarde on the list. You could most certainly safely assume that fours are going to be up there. And then you'd look at Heroic because they have recently started to turn heads. But I mean, you know, don't forget that Dream Eaters shocked us all in Berlin. And that after having gone home and clearing up some sponsor woes, we'll say, this should be their chance to continue the success. But Borup comes out of connector. He's just going to cut down these pistols. CTs have waited long enough. They want to get the ball rolling. Cadian runs down, trying to clean them up. Snappy's going to join him. And these SMGs getting the job done. Money, money, money.
Crad, one hell of a pistol round, 162 ADR. Deagle now in play. Low on HP. Esatag might line this up nicely for him. Is he going to hard clear this? Gun almost peeking out, and there's a kill. Oh, almost number 2. Heroic, though, win the round. Close it out, 2-0, and we will move into what will officially be the first rifle round of the game. No ops, not enough money for ops. Crad could potentially buy one, but that would be glass cannon. It's also the T side. It's not exactly the most pertinent weapon. But actually, to start things out, we've got a bit of a pause. I think it might be a tech pause as well, as Snappy takes off the helicopter headphones.
Swah, 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 swah.
Out to the side, earbuds out, earbuds in. This is the thinking music. Where is he gonna go with this one? Oh, swaps out. Check for the white noise, and he's got a problem with that, so he's gonna call up for some help.
That's a really good shocked face.
Yeah, if he's pretending. Oh, get another test on the white noise.
Cadian puts him up. No, there is no sound.
It's not looking good. It's not Snappy's ears.
There is no sound.
We've confirmed there is no sound.
Cadian tries. There is sound. Hey,
there's that heroic teamwork coming into play.
Yeah, it's day one. We're going to smooth out some small stuff. Not a problem, Launders. So we're going rock climbing later.
Yeah, we are going rock climbing later.
Yeah.
Prasad from Zowie said he watched my Instagram stories or something like that and then started climbing. And so we're going to go with climbing with him, climbing with our photographer, who's now doing photography for Dota, Alex Maxwell. We're going to take Black climbing. I'm going to put that on my Instagram story. Little Black climbing up the wall.
I think there's certainly going to be times where like his arm span just doesn't do it. Right?
No, yeah. And there's going to be times where he can just fold himself up into such a small area that he can reach stuff that us human-sized people can't.
See, I remember when we were in Moscow, we also went rock climbing, and we happened to walk into a rock climbing gym that had what was like this like day school of kids.
Yeah.
You know, like there was, I'm talking age like maybe 10 to 12.
They were younger than that even. Yeah.
So
they were doing
small
the
little
split.
people, right? And that's when I realized like they climb better than all of us.
Well, yeah,
even
because
though
they
we
have
are
less weight to
full-size
pull.
humans.
They're like spider monkeys. They can just fly up the wall because they're just like little kids that don't have anything to hold up.
There is a little part of me that's scared Blez's going to get in there, and I'm going to write him off thinking like, ha, I got this guy. Next thing you know, he pulls an exorcist and starts like scrambling up the walls. I'm hopeful.
I would expect nothing less.
So
you were pretty good. Your first time, you were pretty good.
Thank you. Well, I played it smart, you know. I saw you getting into rock climbing. I kind of wanted to go.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the confidence.
Yeah.
So I took time, hit the gym, put on a bit of muscle.
Right. You went into the
Then
hyperbolic
went
time
in,
chamber.
thinking that, you know, gym muscles were going to help with climbing. Didn't. No, my hand, you know, it's all about the fingers, man. On the way here, I watched Dawnwall.
Oh, perfect.
Recently added to Netflix, yeah. So
highly recommend.
So Free Solo I watched first.
Free Solo you got to watch.
An amazing climbing feat.
Dawnwall, a great follow-up.
The honestly one of the most, what would you say, like the most impressive,
the greatest athletic accomplishment in
accomplishment
human history, for
yeah.
sure. For sure.
And then I watched Dawnwall, and that actually made me realize and have more of an appreciation for Alex Honnold.
Yeah.
Because you realize how hard Dawnwall was for those guys.
You know what's hilarious is you see people from Free Solo that were crying thinking about Alex falling off the wall, who are world-class climbers who have done insane stuff.
Yeah.
The fact that Jimmy Chin, the director of Free Solo, has climbed Mount Everest like almost 10 times and has also alpine climbed in a movie called Meru that he directed himself about them doing the most treacherous alpine climb of all time, his first ascent. He did that, and he's the director. He was just shooting for Free Solo on El Cap. Everybody involved in that is a world-class climber that all have pretty much insane accomplishments in their own careers. Must watch.
Do you think that the qualifications are just as high to be like a DreamHack photographer?
A DreamHack photographer?
You think
almost
Do you think Adela or Alex have climbed?
I mean, when I look at them, I'm intimidated, right?
I am
like,
too.
I can't pick up a camera and do what they do. I don't know how many years it takes to get to that level.
Alex dual swings cameras on each side of his body.
And sometimes I don't know if it's just a weird flex.
He has a holster, a gun holster.
Yes.
That is custom fit to fit cameras in it.
Exactly. Sometimes an iPhone, sometimes a camera, and sometimes he's whipping out all three.
He's got a headlamp with a GoPro.
Yeah, he's probably going spelunking too with that.
I think we're back into it.
Oh, perfect.
Nice.
I totally
All right,
forgot
guys.
we were here casting Counter-Strike.
Let's get back to what we were here for. Not rock climbing, but rather rock hard Counter-Strike. Heroic and hard Legion into the gun round. A little delay at a spawn here, but the CTs will get to it. Still brandishing those MP9s from the previous round. An op added to the tally. And 5 AKs for hard Legion. Smoking connector, EC Tag wants to get close.
Real close. Smoking the stairs. Kinky falls back. CTs have really solid positions still as we get closer to that 1 minute mark. Tag going to be the first feed point for the T's, and he gets the kill with just an MP9.
That's a big one. You know, they have that connector control. They see that it's clear. Sure, there's been some flexing going outside Monster. Forrester trying to draw that attention, but Heroic have left an opening, and that is long, where 3 players are creeping their way closer. Now, if they get out long, it's just versus Snappy's MP9. So you're going to assume that he has to let them into the bomb site. That's when Cadian snaps his attention back and tries to hold the site with him. Cadian's only real threat is that Forrester has the time to come clear bathrooms too, but that's cut off from connector. So in reality, it should be Cadian to stop this on site. Now that Snappy's gone down, the job gets that much harder, but EC Tag does cover behind him. So it's all on the Opper and EC Tag on the cross. Another headshot for him. The AWP comes up empty-handed, but it's the smoke push from Stown and a nade from Cadian to cut them down. 3-0 for Heroic.
Yeah, that was great. As you could see, like the way that you were describing it was exactly the way it was. But as you kept talking about how dangerous it was for the CTs, more CTs started appearing. Yeah. And that's, you know, great teamwork. The fact that the rotations were so fast, the fact that Cadian had an op angle that was good, plus his teammate Tag was so close and was able to cover for him as well. That just goes to show like how well Heroic are playing right now. And I think hopefully we don't have another tech issue. I mean, there's a whole bunch more climbing stuff that we could talk about if we really have to, but it looks like they're playing the climbing music, Connor.
Would you climb to this?
I would, but probably slowly, and then I get very tired.
Sloth mode.
But yeah, if we compare this to the last Overpass match, with
Whoa,
Mystica.
notes.
Oh yeah, can we get a super zoom? Is that possible? I'd like to really read that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, he's covering it up, I think.
Tell me.
I have to actually go, I have to do a handstand to read that.
Launders, unless you read Russian, it's not going to help.
Oh, is that what the language was?
Yeah.
Oh, was it even upside down? I don't even know.
Why is he reading upside down? Sat in the center, Hard Legion.
Yeah, a newly formed, I actually don't want to get the details of Hard Legion incorrect, but they're a newly formed org.
Right, so it's, I believe, we'll say organization, we'll say sponsor, whatever it may be, because it's the head of it is a very popular Russian streamer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So he's kind of taking them under his wing. You know, it's like when you sponsored kind of like X-Splice.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. That was a temporary thing.
Yeah.
They needed to play some qualifiers and stuff, so we helped them out.
Hard Legion.
Sounds pretty good.
Rigid Battalion.
Can you do like the Quake announcer, for the Quake announcer voices?
Headshot.
Can you do Mega Kill?
Mega Kill.
Ultra Kill?
Ultra Kill.
Monster Kill?
Monster Kill.
Somebody
That's
kill him.
about all I got. No, I've never, you know what? That's all without ever playing Quake.
Nice.
So we wait.
Oh, is it Unreal
Snappy.
Tournament?
Unreal Tournament.
Unreal Tournament, and then it gets moved, and then they use it in Dota as well, and they used to use it.
Monster Kill.
There we go. And then they got the female one. Mega Kill.
Never talk to me like that again.
Shut your mouth when you talk to me.
You ready? We've got pistols back up. So, I mean, we're back into the action, but not really quite there. We'll have to get through another eco before we've got weapons back up to the T's side. Double Deagle P250, not even a flash. Make it triple Deag. Clearing out connector and on the retreat already.
That's the tag. Oh, stop, drop. But they have a lot of info. They're still looking all the way down. And they're not sitting behind Dicebox. They're not cutting themselves off. They're making sure to stay proactive. They're even moving in forward off the smoke once they get some more information. These are the plays you want to see on the CT side. Very, very active. T's hang back. No nades to work with, so they're going to rely on using these deagles like mini ops. Just play it slow. Oh.
Ooh. Little dumpster fire there.
It's a hard setup to break. Again, they're limited on information, but they're holding the line. They're saying, okay, there's a certain point at which we cannot give you anything more.
Yep.
You're not going to get this for free. And that's what's very, very important. Don't let them get into the site on the A side. The A side is crappy to hold. It's a giant choke point. You don't want to sit there and defend late into the round. So good from Heroic here to get a 4-0, and they do it with minimal losses. 0 kills on 2 of the players on Hard Legion in these first 4 rounds. We're going to have another buy-up, the second official rifle round of the game so far. Snappy's going to be picking up an AUG, but we already have 3 AKs in play for the CTs.
Big money. Not only cashing in with those MP9s, but then getting the AK upgrades. Heroic. Not having to spend much thus far. So 4-0 the start. Hard Legion back at it with a gun round and an opening pick. That's Forrester outside of Monster, who spams short tunnels and picks up his opening kill. Now, short's not free, though. Stound's still in here, and he's got support from Connector. Looking to control the guns.
Yeah, even though it's 4v5, the door open makes it so much harder for the players who are in stairs to try to get close to the door. We'll see if they do try to approach it, if they smoke the end, but the door is blown off, so it's not like the CC will close this for them. Orp's in a prime spot. As the tag takes that first peek, they outpatience him. Very nice stuff. Finally, the smoke goes down, and a flash. He doesn't know how close they were.
Yep.
And now the threat of them going up the stairs is there. But it's actually Hard Legion to make their way back. So you can see how that smoke can play a factor into the CT's mind in a bad way.
Big time. Smoke and the flash, like you said, that removing any audio cue that could have been given up, anything like that, and he kind of slipped towards the top of Connector.
Just creates suspicion.
You know, that's why Heroic still have 2 members up on A, and Borup has to just skulk back into the bomb site and look to lock it down on his own. 5 players barreling at him, and he's already been seen, but he does get that first one going for the spray. It's the Opera to cut him down. Smoked off Heaven, down. Not able to get into the mix, but his frag grenade sure does. Spreads the shrapnel. And we have ourselves a post plant, the first.
And this round is completely over. Oh, really well played from Heart Legion. That was awesome. First 2 kills were great. They took the first one off of a lucky spray, I think, from Forrester through the smoke. He did his due diligence, spam through the monster smoke. Oh no?
No, it was actually the op peek. I thought the same thing, and then I realized it was the op peek that they went for, trying to challenge through short tunnel with an op from the CTs,
and
not
he won
smoke,
with the AK?
and he got the headshot.
Okay, cool. So they get that kill, a little bit fortunate. Then the players in stairs look like they're in danger. If they come up too quickly, Esatag and Borup can crossfire and kill them. Instead, they stay back, they wait. They're in the 45, but they're more patient than ever.
Yes.
So that's great. And then Esatag comes out for the peak eventually, because he's like, here's a potential I can get free information. He gets destroyed, and then from there, the round rolls on. And then they smoke the end of stairs, flash to make it seem like they're going to go up the stairs, walk around to B. Great rotation. There's 2 CTs at A, 1 on the site at B. He gets a kill, but that's not enough. So overall, Heart Legion did so many great things that round.
It's a promising look from them. Still early days on this T side, but obviously just their first round, so they'd love to couple it with the next. Good job by Cadian, getting himself posted up, but we talked about that patience in the 4 versus 5 from Heart Legion. It's a pretty passive default as well, coming up towards Fountain from them, anticipating some sort of hyper-aggression from Heroic, but it's all over towards B that we see the CTs get aggressive.
Yeah, I think this is where you put a lot of your CT attention. You can push both sides of the map on overpass, but the short peek pushes are enormous just because you can help your stairs player if you have short peek control, and you can have short control without stairs, and it's still useful for stopping stairs rushes. Cadian gets the first on a wide swing, no flash to assist. They try to use a player to help bait, but Cadian doesn't get traded out because he's too quick.
Oh, that's a tough duel to take. Yeah. Ankle biters.
That's really rough. Anybody slow creeping up and expecting you to be standing on the railing is a difficult challenge to deal with. Again, you're looking at 2 players shooting at each other's feet. So it's up in the air.
Now Esatag's wary of both sides. Kinky flashes for Sviat, who sees the shoulder. Goes in for more, and we've got Esatag even closer. More CTs to help from sight. Sviat takes back what he can. They lost the duel in mid because of Esatag.
Yeah, it was a labor trade because Esatag has such a big advantage with the shadow. Oh, flash goes too far.
And screws Speedak out of his chance at a kill. Now Sviat's cut off from the bomb, 10 seconds left up, and this round gets cut down.
And that's typically why you don't want to offhand flashes. It's not a hard flash to throw, but you can see even because I was off by just a couple of in-game inches, it doesn't work at all, and then Snappy gets the follow-up kill as well.
Yep.
The player in the back who's flashing has an op and he's low HP. The rifle would have come out, killed Snappy, no problem, and they could have made their way to the site. That's how important that flash was. If they didn't throw the flash and they didn't peek, then we have a whole different round. So the fact that they threw it and missed actually caused them to lose directly.
Trying to go for an early op peek, but his gander turned around. Connector control already taken by Heart Legion, making pretty quick work of Connector. I feel like despite their initial passiveness towards Fountain, it's been proactive through and through. Losing Forrester over towards B, who normally lurks outside of Monster. This could change things, though. Luckily, they do have that Connector control, so they can quickly pop open the door, make sure that none of these counter-terrorists have, in fact, flanked all the way through spawn, which is still a liability. Monster has been open.
They've been quietly performing this long setup over and over again, I think waiting for the opportunity where Heart Legion decides to take it. But the great part about this long setup is it is a totally viable way to hold A, even if they go bathroom. So we'll see how that comes into play. There's 3 players here. Snappy will be the one actively looking for information, and then 2 players to sit and wait and be a bit more patient with their frags.
Opper blinded. That's going to give more real estate to Heart Legion, but caught with utility in hand. Cadian's going to cut down another one, so a 3v5 disadvantage. And yet still Kinky gets himself a kill. Esatag hard on the flank. already getting in back behind the T's, who just get chopped down again on the site. They can't get that footing onto the bomb site.
Well, that's why you need long control, right? Look at the angles that Cadian can play from because his teammate's at long. He's basically sitting out in the open if there's a T at long.
Yep.
If there's a T at long and his teammate's dead, he can't stand here. This makes it so like all those headshot angles on the side are no longer possible for the T's. That's enormous, and that comes with their setup. So again, a really smart way to hold A, and it puts pressure on the T's to do more work to try to get control of the site. And that's something they really didn't have an answer for whatsoever.
Yep.
So we're gonna have attack pause called. This hard Legion go over things. They did have one great round that we looked at. This round they were not so fortunate when it came to finding the opening kills. The way they start off the round is not really of concern to me. I think that some fights will come, and they'll eventually come no matter what, because the CT seem to always be taking an aggressive option, whether it's short B stairs or at long. But there's some tweaking they can do to make sure they get those opening kills. For example, when Cadian was holding long, they decided to use a person to peek to try to bait out an op shot, but Cadian hit that shot.
Yeah.
Maybe next time just try flashing.
Relatively light on utility this time. Hup, hup, yeah! Seemed like a lot of work for your average peak, but being thorough, making sure CTs hadn't gotten close. There have been aggressive moments from Heroic towards Party. But Tag looks to get it started this time. He's going to get the information of the footsteps. He's got the support from Cadian back as well. There is an Opper trying to pluck him, but easy tag to the corner, sprays for two. Cadian takes one off the top of the pot, and a double headshot connects, and Long is shut down. Bomb thrown into the open, and Forrester, who tends to linger from B, finds himself walking up mid. Another moment where like Hard Legion are set up. They had the long control they didn't from the previous round, but individuals, baby, individuals. Heroic, 7-1.
That's even better. Last round we saw when they tried to approach A through bathrooms, they got shut down by that long setup, Cadian getting his kills. This time around, they actually have to use S-Tag right away, but you can see why this setup is useful for both the A control versus bathrooms and versus a straight up long take.
Yeah.
There, they jumped across to avoid Cadian, fell right into the waiting arms of S-Tag. No problem. Easy first kill, and the second kill was a great spray transfer, but that player wasn't prepared for him to be there.
Yeah.
So even had an advantage in that fight.
It's one of those freeze frame moments when you see them just like hopping helplessly.
That's when he knew.
Into his sight.
He effed up.
You're like, well.
We're back to pistols. Once again, no reason to be shy. Cadian out here with the op. The shot falls back, but they've got a lot of support. They've almost always had 3 people at A. It's another really salient point that they've never been understaffed on this side.
It's because I feel like the vast majority of the B play so far has just been Forrester outside Monster on his own. Sometimes some connector play, but the crossfire looking good. 5 frags for them. Very successful anti-eco. And it continues the trend of a very successful CT side. We're up to the 8-1 already.
That's wonderful. That's another round, and this would be an interesting stat, is to look for like how far away the average player died from the site. There's another round, like at long, they died before even getting to the end of long. They don't get through the initial setup, right? The first wave of CTs. There, they get killed coming out of door, and some of them have head armor as well, even though it's a half-buy, destroyed before they could even get close to coming up the short B ramp. So now we move into another rifle round. Op coming out quickly. Forrester trying to get aggressive on short B. No CTs here, but there are a couple here in stairs.
Cadian fires, that draws the attention. AK swinging out from the corner. Now they know Cadian's still close. Elsewhere, it's a short over fight that still goes the way of Heroic. Cadian coming in with a sidearm even. Op not needed.
This is nasty. Every single fight they take, they're getting shot from 2 directions at once.
Oof, I couldn't keep up with it.
At stairs, they had the 2 players on stairs, one baiting attention, the other one getting the kill. On short B, you have someone spamming through the wood, another person getting the kill on short.
Yeah.
And Bora. It's never an easy fight to take. And if you're Hard Legion, you're just thinking, man, these CTs are everywhere.
That's true. That's two really good bits of team play. You know, Cadian's audio cube draws the attention away from connector corner, and then wall spam from the B site draws you away from the short peak. You've got to anticipate 4 different players in that situation, all in the span of 10 seconds. Good luck, and good riddance. Borup clears Crad from the base of connector, and they are 1 round now away from double digits. Heroic locking it down, and that's another gun round too. Making quick work of the anti-ecos, but even rifle rounds.
And again, we saw 2 very one-sided matches today because the first 2 rounds were the best seed versus the lowest seed.
Yeah.
In this situation, these teams are both better. Hard Legion, the 1 round they won, actually looks fantastic. And again, they've had replicable play in those in the moments in that round where you think, okay, wow, they could probably take some of that and get themselves another kill, an opening kill in a future round. And yet Heroic are still like 3-4 steps ahead and are only getting better as the rounds roll on. Really good sign from them. This makes me really want to have seen Hard Legion versus Avantgarde or Hard Legion in either of the 2 opening matches, because I feel like they would have done a lot better.
What's up next? Bai's obviously back in the cards. Contending for short control already. They've tucked 2 players into the corner and could go for a boost. There are 4 bodies down here on this B site. When's the last time you saw Heroic have 4 players on this portion of the map? But it is going to let Borup go for a play. It's going to let him risk himself slightly. And even if he dies, the T's could very well walk into something they don't expect. Spray transfer nearly good for a second. Wow. But Sviat stays standing. Now Crad comes out from Monster, hits the timing on the head and down included. But he gets plucked off by Cadian, still short in the control of Heroic. Now the peek off of the ramp from Snappy is good for not just the kill, but so much damage.
Yeah, an extra almost 90. And man, I already don't care what happens this round. Heroic has done so much good stuff. They're calling out everything. Oh, into the scope of Cadian. Svat actually comes out, gets the kill, and gets out. He's low HP, but that's a big scalp to take.
A sneaky, cheeky smoke peek
from Snappy.
He's going to go chasing, and he is rewarded. Speedak opts not to continue towards Monster, but doubles back instead. He's going to need some crisp headshots. 2 of them. Or catch someone off guard, because on 13 health, it's not a good spot to be in. He's got that 1 smoke, and a flashbang to boot.
Yeah, there's a temptation to play together since they do have a player in heaven, so they might actually let this go down. Looks like S-Tag's now going to fall back.
Yep. The fact that he uses his utility
is not going to come up quick. Retake. Yeah, he's just running in.
Big audio.
Oh, he doesn't know where the bomb was planted. The smoke.
Speedak. Now it's on Snappy. Currently 12-6. Speedak has crept past into the bank. And he did this damage to Snappy. Remember, he was on 100. He softened it himself around the pillar.
And it's an open plant.
And he hears Q's on site now. He knows Snappy taps bomb and he's down.
Oh, that was sick.
Sick clutch.
That was a sick clutch, man. Yeah, he preyed on S-Tag's impatience there, threw the smoke down for the default plant, planted kind of outside in the open at Optimus.
Yep.
S-Tag had no idea. Didn't even think he had to listen to the audio cue, was so sure that it was in the smoke.
Which would have made sense. Smoke
really well played.
Off,
and he got away with an open plant that allowed him to play bank on that very safe angle.
Oh, man.
That was good stuff.
All right.
But yeah, that was a hard round to win. Heroic did such a good job in that early round.
Let's go. It's that kind of, a big play like that. That's the first big moment of individuals coming out of Hard Legion, I feel. A big clutch like that kind of puts air back in the sails. Gets the winds blowing. Maybe Hard Legion can use that. Follow through with some momentum. But that was a weird round, Seeing Heroic stack B-site early with 4 players kind of came out of nowhere.
This is interesting. Already another change of pace. 4 players at A, pushed up to the ends of the choke points. 2 in stairs for Hard Legion, and they've seen so many signs of Heroic's aggression here on the CT side of B short as well as stairs that Heroic are burning a lot of time by just being patient and getting all this info at A. It's even pushed their Stavin to push through for the big flank, but it's being held. Oh, he falls off the angle.
No way.
Yeah,
Forrester
that's Forrester.
Off.
He just barely gets killed by timing. That's so unfortunate. His patience was huge, but now it's going to come down to Stavin. Does he have the patience to make the most of this?
One player's already through Monster. Now he's going to get 2 bodies. Easy lineup, and he cuts off that bomb. It's going to take a heroic effort from somebody from Hard Legion. A huge kill is what that player out Monster had to get, but no sirrees. Yat will bring it back with at least 1, but he too falls prey to the unsuspected push. Snappy gets into short. Krad gets through A site, but so what? He has no bomb, and he's outnumbered 1-4. 10 seconds seals this off. That's 10-2. Heroic 8-round lead.
Yeah. You know, if you were going to retroactively analyze properly, you'd have to say that Heroic got very lucky. The kill on the flank would have been in with the bomb. That would have slowed down Heroic, knowing that their play was red. And instead, you have oh man, after holding down an angle, it happens to everybody. You're holding an angle for 45 seconds. You give it up because your team needs you to come and plant the bomb or like help you execute, and then you immediately find out you've been followed the entire time.
Yeah.
That really sucks. Very, very unlucky rounds.
And having a second player come back through short, like, I mean, it almost looked like only the bomb carrier was going to get cut off, but it turns into a double kill. What if you just thrown bomb outside Monster and that second player picks it up? You know, there's less pressure for him to have given up that angle. It's a heartbreaker, but this is a classic. Connector through bathrooms rush on a pistol round. Try to get to the A site as quick as you can, but they kind of pumped the brakes once they got in here, and that's going to enable the CTs to lock this down. 2 bodies inside of the bomb site. Essetag with a huge push, and he even catches the player in playground now. Cadian looks away, could have found one on the cross, but it gets interesting. Krad, the single rifle here for Hard Legion, at least finds 1 kill.
Yeah, they don't overcommit though. Even though he pushed that far and got the information, they didn't make any bad moves at B. They've stuck in their position, so even if Hard Legion go back for info, they don't know anything.
He saw that.
This once again just slows things down. There's an arm. Snappy gets the kill. Pop shot in for Cadian. Speedy's out.
Nice, Krad. Single-handed performance at this moment. Goes back for bomb, that's gonna be easy. Last 2 CTs come up from B. 3 kills for him. Kinky gets a further position. Great grenade, a little bit of chip damage, and an excellent peek. Just mows him down.
That's sick. That's sick.
Doubles his kill count. And at the waning few rounds that still remain in this first half, it looks like Hard Legion are putting something together.
Officially 2v4, and Krad gets 3 kills, so the last 2 players get all 5 kills, right? That's nice. That's nice. The Krieg commercial right there. That is pretty sick. Heroic, again, had a good setup. They were ready. They had everything going for them. They had a lot of info. They were smart. They didn't overextend. They didn't give up kills too easily. They still lost. Hard Legion are definitely a force to be reckoned with. Yeah, but there's just so many good things to say about Heroic. It feels like in the long run, they're going to win way more of these rounds than Hard Legion can. But we'll see if Hard Legion can at least get 5. Close out with a half respectable scoreline.
Make that second half valuable in the least bit. What do we got towards long? Just EC tag tucked away. Cadian back towards site because of the grenades. Gets kind of called into action. Deep flash, clear your corners. They've fallen into this before, but not this time. Krad with a flash assist and some damage onto Snappy. Long A just gets instantaneously cleared.
That's nuts. Yeah, it was the exact same setup, same players, same positions, same guns, and they just get
dead,
pooped on, flop skied on.
Which is a good look for them. Hard Legion trying to finish this one off strong.
That's nice, and we can see they're smart.
Yeah.
Actually, like, it's a one-sided scoreline, but you can still see they're thinking, they're making the right moves. And again, they got very unlucky on one of those previous rounds, where they made the correct play and lost. So that's awesome. That's awesome. And I wonder how much they wanted to go into that setup, because if they know there's 3 CTs there, it might not be a favorable situation to like just throw everything in the kitchen sink at long when you could lose the straight up gun duels. But they had a good flash. They didn't lose a single player there, so they might have had an extremely strong game plan. That was basically, we take long here. We know their long setup. If they do that again, we have a plan to crush it. If they're not there, then we can go ahead with the long A play into execute that we wanted to do in the first place. It ends up just winning them the round straight up. Now we're into round 15. Very few kills in general for Hard Legion. No one crossing that 10 mark just yet. This round might be the round. Flashes out. Yeah, Forrester's fast.
Quick on his feet. And the A control is deep. Heroic on the offense. You know, having fallen prey to that monster flank just a couple of rounds ago, I'm sure Krad isn't going to leave this one. Now that Molly should burn Estetag into the open, but oh, he's got a teammate. He gets spooked, he hops, he panics, and next thing you know, it's a 5v4 for Heroic. Looking to finish this half strong. After giving up a couple rounds, an 11-4 would make them comfortable. A follow-up kill forces this into the 3 versus 5, and when you get to the 3v5, you go all in. It's Monster and the B site. Stavin trying to cover from above. Flank through connectors so quick that it cuts off Forrester, so it is just the Monster push. That's it, that's all. Deep frag grenade for substantial damage. SpeedAxe just trying to cut down some of these numbers before they try to plant the bomb, but they can't. This one's over. An 11-4 half with a quick halftime break, and we'll be back with the second pistol. Back with the second half, Hard Legion versus Heroic. Our second showdown on Overpass today, first day of DreamHack Open Rotterdam. But this is what I want to see. I want to see Hard Legion on the defense, opening up with a pistol and giving us a close game to talk about, Launders. They go for the early peek, try to get that information, and SpeedAxe falls back real quick.
It's out to Long, and Snappy's got a smoke. I don't know if he's going to use a smoke just to get control of Long. Oh, they're doing the old Gob B, clear out A. Oh, they're actually changing it up a little bit. In through bathrooms, out to the split, and that's why you always start with Long. Backs against the wall, perfect stuff. But a great setup here, potentially. No, Spawn calls that out, and a great flash to assist. Estetag, Katie, and Spawn all getting kills.
Dude, look at those snappy flash assists. That's one happy Snappy. Cuts it down to the 4v2 post-plant, looking good. Krad already inside of the smoke, it fades. Little gap angle there from Estetag. Gets a fresh mag in. Ready for further peeks, but Cadian's got the cover, so they just cut them down. I mean, they clear their first corner. Krad gets nothing more than one. just very fast. I mean, fast straight out the gates, all the way to the bathrooms. I thought as well, once they started going into top bathrooms, that they were going to maybe leak down into the connector, make sure they weren't getting flanked. But I feel like they didn't let off the momentum.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that pistol strat a lot. It's very simple. You know, 5 out to long. You stay together beginning of the round.
Yep.
You get a lot of map control at the beginning of the round. You use one smoke, 2 flashes, so everyone else can buy armor. Then you perform a split by getting into the bathrooms. The optimal way to take A. It's super easy. You can copy and paste that into your next pug even, and basically no one has to learn any nades. So that's the kind of pistol strat I always love to see. You can't really mess it up.
At this moment, the combined round count of the losing teams so far at DreamHack Rotterdam
7
is 7. This is wild, man. I can't remember the last time we had such like a one-sided start to an event.
Yeah.
But
I stink.
there is still time. Gonna have to get through this one. Quick little anti-eco on our way to victory lane. Heroic have lost a body. Borup down. Mac 10 up. And these CTs are going to try to scramble back through their spawn to get to the A site. Forrester gives chase into the lying wait. Stavin now snappy takes another head. Esatag, oof, Galil spray. Despite taking damage, he's still good.
Minimal losses, full buy in the next round. But our Legion want to try to get as many kills as possible. They can't do that. It's a long road back to tying up. It's going to be hard versus Heroic in this form with this much confidence, with such a great start. And we have yet to see their T side. And certainly it's where Snappy spends a lot of his attention. And this is where, you know, you're not going to see them do dumb things, really. They're going to have a lot of really well-drilled stuff here on T side on Overpass.
Ooh, good dink. Just trying to blow him up with the bomb, but all 4 continue on to the next round. So efficient anti-eco coming out of Heroic. Looking to close this one pretty quick, but they're going to have to get through the gun round, which is already coming out, of course.
You think Cadian got his luggage lost? Or he doesn't have his jersey yet?
His jersey is underneath his sweater. I noticed the collar.
Oh, the collar, okay. That giveaway. Let's see.
He's just cold.
Yeah, some people are sweater gamers. I'm not a sweater gamer, but...
Absolute freaks. Can't have anything on your wrist. You gotta have empty pockets. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's insane. I usually am just like completely naked. Weightless.
Really, you know,
I want to be able to lose a game and
man.
know that it was my fault. You know, not my sleeve, not the weight.
Utilities dwindling for Hard Legion already. Single smoke, 4 flashbangs. Feel like Speed Axe feeling a little unsafe at the moment, and I would understand why. There's pressure being applied to middle. He's got a teammate down there. He spots Cadian's head, whack-a-mole. Good team flash. Sviat comes in to help. Now Speedak turns his head back towards middle. Can he do more than 2? He's already done his job and he falls. Now Sviat doesn't want to be the next victim for the CT side. He's going to call from the support on site. They know he's pinned into this corner and he cannot retreat, but he doesn't get any cover. Kinky just lets him die.
Yeah, this setup doesn't make much sense when he's rifling long this way. I guess Kinky would have just peeked. No, I mean, he should have peeked then. His teammate died. He didn't really have a good angle to fight, but yeah, this bait setup ends up being redundant, or at least that he's useless until they get to long, even though he has a teammate up there getting information. So we'll see if that comes back to cost him. Oh my gosh, Krad. It feels like Krad is picking up kills where he shouldn't, like constantly. He's very crisp aim. But now this 2v2 is much more viable for the T's. Bomb is making his way back. I don't think there's enough time here.
There should be.
To plant?
Oh, no, there's not. Oh my god, you're absolutely right. They've just lost the time despite Kiki dying. That's it. Oh boy. I mean, it's one of those scary moments. You've got 2 players in T-spawn. The big rotation gets caught because of Krad on the ladder. And then you also have Esatag, who all that time had stuck around on long.
In a sense, the rotation to the B site was perfect because there was no time to come back to A.
Yep.
So that wins them the round
But he
no
would have
matter
had to
what.
keep going alone.
And Heroic know that there's a guaranteed rotation to the B side as well. That's why they try to run it back. So you can see what the logic is.
Well.
But yeah, not being able to calculate the distance versus how fast they can go,
But
ends up costing them.
I mean, that's a huge result here because I mean, it enables one player to survive for Hard Legion, only one. You can see it. Sviat still fully equipped, all the grenades in the world. But now Heroic, they've given them that round. They've given them a chance. Whereas we could have been easily staring at a 14-4. Because if bomb plant happens on the A site, there's no way that Dumpster player is able to stop it, and he's facing a 1 versus 2 where they know exactly where he's at.
Interesting here. They've got a much better bathroom setup. What we saw earlier. Walking through the smoke, yeah, as it dissipates, normal play to make. Does he have some support from his team? We'll see if Speed helps him out better than he helped out Speed, I think, last round.
I feel like Speedak in this case just hides.
He owes him nothing, really.
Yeah, MP9 activates, swings out. M4 also empty-handed. Savin just clearing out the washrooms, essentially clearing out the A site because it's just Sviat, and he gets burned back into where he has no cover.
Wow.
Oh, dude,
What a round.
nasty little 3K. Just tippity taps his way into the bomb site. A 4th. Damn, kid, calm down.
Yeah, avoiding Crad, a good idea,
Yeah.
for sure. He's only got an MP9 as well. That's a fantastic round from Ston. And he gets the ace. He completes it. That's fantastic. Again, that A setup, that aggressive setup, is supposed to guarantee 1 kill. And even if you get 1 kill, you failed. Ston kills on both, they get nothing. They only had SMGs as well. They can't afford to lose these rounds. We're 2 away from a map win for Heroic. Great SG play here. Doop. And even that was just pre-fire tap. Can't see over that fire. It's not even the smoke, right? He's looking straight through the flames. I don't care how that's rendered on his screen. He probably can't see anything until tracers come his way.
And playing for the 10-round overtime comeback. This one's as vanilla as it gets. Not even a big stack. No huge push. Hard Legion essentially trying to use their big brains with little tiny arms because these USPs, not lethal. Still, thorough utility usage coming out of Heroic. And a consistent crawl towards this A-bomb site.
Yeah, take your time, why not? Just be careful. Map's almost wrapped up. TPs have already made the hard rotate over to B, completely forfeiting the A site, and that was just because of patience. They initially had 2 people there, just about 10 seconds ago. So nades will start to come out, I'm sure. 35-second mark, and Hard Legion are holding their hard gamble. But here's where they go flaccid.
Yeah. Big flat flop onto the A site. Crad tries to get it in and can't. Just wanted to look, wanted to take a peek over the dumpster. And he is cut down. So this is an easy 15th round. Heroic with a masterclass. I'm actually kind of shocked, after our first game, I thought the second one was going to provide us with a bit more.
Yeah.
Didn't. I thought this one, I mean, despite having more rounds than the first 2 maps combined, it's still just not nearly as close as I thought. I thought Hard Legion were really going to give Heroic some sort of a run, but Heroic are looking good. Taking the success that they had in London, moving it straight through to Rotterdam. Which I think this is awesome. When all of a sudden you have the better teams, right? The Heroics, the Avant-Garde, the Fours. If all of these teams are just dominating their opening opponents, I can't wait to see them play head-to-head.
Yeah, give me the Heroic versus Avant-Garde, and give me the Heroic versus Force. All 3 teams look good. Even though the other 2 teams had way worse opponents, they still look like they were trying really, really hard and being safe. And as Jerry said in the interview, so you can never underestimate an opponent. And even though that game was easy, they made sure that they tried the entire time, or at least up until the point that it was just too easy. I think is what he said. But here's what could be a well-placed grenade to get that utility damage up in potentially the last round of the game.
And a playground boost that doesn't spot just how close some of these players are. Oh, but Kinky can't turn around fast enough. Luckily, Speedak swings out, ready for it. Snappy takes the place of the fallen T, clears the closer corner, and almost nails himself a second. The opping Cadian's going to throw the nade. Does it clear him?
Oh, that was so close.
Molotov
Stairs.
good. He's going to flush him into the open.
One tick, and he's basically dead.
Oh my god, and Cadian still hasn't gotten eyes on him. It's the connector player that's going to have to come out, exposes back to mid. Unbeknownst to him, there could very well be CTs there, but there isn't.
Yeah, he's trying to make it seem like he ran away. Oh, the spray is not good. And somehow Hard Legion are getting away with this, but there's still 2 players up with full HP. A nade and an op.
That was a fun fight. I like that round. That was just some good back and forth towards Fountain.
There's a lot of tension.
Puts us to the 3v2. Can Hard Legion extend this game? They saved to try and fight for overtime. First player's been confirmed over on B. He's calling for reinforcements, and Forrester's just trying to stay standing, just trying to buy the time. 28 seconds, and he leaves it just to Cadian. 16 and 5. He clears his flank, and the headshot's nearly there, but down he goes. 9 more for Hard Legion to get this out. Regulation.
They almost, and Heroic almost won that round by killing everybody in the A setup like right away. The flash was great. They got the first kill. Snappy went unchecked, uncontested for too long. Yeah. I feel like he got too much damage in. He got that first kill too easily. There was a long player that was too afraid of getting opped by Cadian or something. He didn't peek at all. And then they didn't protect their players who were in balloons. So they had so much presence there, but not everybody was helping each other. And I think that that setup wasn't as good as it could be. I feel like the positions were maybe fine, but Hard Legion were not taking the right liberties when it came to peeking to actually ensure the safety of their teammates. So I think maybe lucky to have won that round with that setup, considering how it was played, but they've also now just got another chance at showing us what they can do on CT side.
In contrast to the last round, they really conceded that forward A control this time. You know, we had an op fire off a couple of shots, and then Speedak goes all the way back to the A site. And they're going to look to tuck Kinky into long, but it's through Monster. And Hard Legion go man down. They know he's in there because of the smoke. Sure, he could have crossed back by now, but the threat of a player close corner is still in their minds. Can't help but feel like that position gets hard cleared. And once the smoke fades, there's no going back for Forrester. Unless another smoke comes through. Even a flashbang, like, buddy, you gotta hop and hope that you don't get cut down. Flashbang dodge, Fiat peeks back, and neither player find themselves a kill. Then they hesitate. They toy with Speedak. He's gonna go ahead and try and change positions, but he has to pop back in and out of this position and just nail these shots. 4 bodies on the other side. A slim trimming of wood is all that separates him, and a frag grenade that nearly kills Cadian, but Stavin activates. He comes out from heaven. Never saw it coming. This is it. 16-6. Heroic change direction, heading over to the B site to close out this map. And I appreciate Hard Legion's attempt and, you know, belief that they could have swung it into OT, but not gonna happen here.
Man, Heroic are sick. They're so sick. They were so patient, and even where Hard Legion were patient, they were even more patient.
Yeah.
They always made good decisions. I really love watching them play, and even in that last round, they knew where every kill was going to come from.
Yep.
They outpatience the Opera there when there was no information on where he was. Then they queued him in the back. Then they kill his teammate when they know he's rotating in from short. They had a good idea about almost every single kill in that whole game.
Damn.
It was sick. That was awesome.
This is a good Heroic. This is a heroic that 100% throws itself into a finals contender, and I can't wait to see what more they have. But we're done, Launders and I, so we'll give this one back to Frankie and our excellent analysts.
Oh, thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. That was, I mean, it's pretty clear-cut from Heroic there.
I just want to echo what Launders and Scrawny said. That was a Heroic coming to play. They looked so damn good. They were patient. They didn't give any room whatsoever for Dream Eaters to kind of get back into the game. Even some of the rounds, like Dream Eater 1, was coming down to Heroic making very tiny little mistakes. The 1v2, for example, where I think it was very low in health, and it was S-Attack who pushed him a little too early. But apart from that, I really didn't see any mistakes being made by the heroic side. Super patient, they had a game plan in mind, and they executed it to absolute perfection.
They did execute it to perfection, and it's those protocols just shining through, each player understanding exactly what their responsibilities are, and each player fulfilling those responsibilities. And it's really nice to see clean games like this from teams that are supposed to win. We've been seeing it all day, right? And it bodes well for these teams moving forward through this tournament.
Absolutely. Looking at day 2, I'm really excited because, not just day 2, even today, later on, we have the winners matchups coming up. And if you look at Avantgarde, Force, and now Heroic, 3 teams that I've been like, they should be making the playoffs, and they're looking so damn good. That means there's going to be some really exciting games happening later on today.
For sure, especially because usually the first day, you know, it's the first day LAN jitters, it's the unknown factor coming in, best of ones. There's so many factors that make these matches generally a little bit closer, but seeing the teams that should be winning dominant in these opening matches, it definitely bodes well.
It bodes well, in particular, for our Sunday when we get our semi-finals and, of course, our grand finals. I think we're going to have some really spicy, close best-of-3 series there. In terms of Hard Legion, though, they did seem to start to adapt a little bit better towards the end of that first half. Do we think, therefore, that actually they may stand a chance if they can reset tonight in those best-of-3s tomorrow?
I don't think they're a bad team at all, right? Like, for example, they were really struggling to take long the way they had a bait setup, STech playing up close towards long, they had Cadian with the op towards A bomb site, and once they knew that setup was there, they were able to adapt to it. And that's one round they won in a very clean fashion, 3 frags back-to-back in a span of a couple of seconds. So they are able to adapt. They're able to like read certain setups depending on how it goes about, but they need to adapt a little bit earlier on. It was too late by then. At least for them, though, they're going to be facing off against, well, a team which won't be as good as Heroic, so they still have a chance.
Absolutely, and I did appreciate Hard Legion's approach. Unfortunately, those rookie mistakes that we talk about sometimes with the newer teams coming into this LAN environment, there was one round in particular on short B in that water area where they kind of ran towards the boost. And generally, the higher tier teams, they're never going to run those sound cues, the free information that you give your opponents, that's everything. And we saw Heroic immediately respond, throwing a Molotov down, and then since that smoke cue came out, then the Heroic players slowly pushed towards that short B. And these are the advantages that a team like Heroic are going to see, and they're absolutely going to capitalize on. So the sound cues are something that Legion kind of have to keep in mind.
Well, we're going to get you to break down a round where a Heroic early advantage didn't quite go their way in a bit. But right now, we're going to talk to Cadian.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that analysis, honestly.
Oh, well, I think you might need to, my friend, because you've got to play in the best of 1 later today.
Let's get it after
you might learn something, yeah?
I'm going to have to watch Potter. Clip it for me.
How are you doing, Casper? I'm just really excited to see you back in the jersey, to be honest.
Thank you, Frankie. Well, honestly, I'm really good. What has started has been for this team, for me on this journey as well. I didn't really see myself having this start like 2 weeks, 1 month ago, so yeah, this has been awesome, but honestly, hopefully it's just the beginning.
Yeah, one thing I just wanted to ask is, like, right now, with you coming back into the team, and you just seem like you've been given a lot of freedom just to run around, you know, op and do whatever. Is it a different feeling for you coming in, not having the weight of being an in-game leader in the team? Is that something that you've been missing for a long time?
Yeah, for sure. I think, I don't know if I've been necessarily missing it, because frankly speaking, I like in-game leading. I like being in control of what the team is doing. But I have less things to worry about now, right? Like Snappy is the main guy to go to when it comes to all those stuff. So I can focus a bit more on myself and just, I'm a bit more relaxed with the AWP now, I feel like, than I was in maybe North at least. But yeah, freedom, I mean, to a certain degree, we're still playing a system, we're still following strategies, so, but yeah, I can do what I want mostly on the CT side.
Speaking a little bit more about that system, it seems like you were just straight up a plug and play. Since you've joined this Heroic lineup, it seems like your synergy with your teammates, specifically towards that long A, I mean, you knew exactly how to bounce the aggro off of your mates. Is that something that you guys discussed prior to make sure you guys are on the same page with protocols, or is this just natural Danish synergy?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I think a lot of the Danish players, they have like a similar vision of the game, how we like to approach it, and that philosophy definitely helps when it gets like be played in a new team and so on. Like here, it's a completely new environment. Some of these guys I've never played in a team with before, but we're meshing very well. And some of it is like previous experience from like their old setups, and some of it is honestly just a feel, right? Like round by round, we try and get a feel of what the opponent is doing, and we try to adjust during the game.
Avantgarde is next.
Yes.
And actually, you faced them not long ago, and you beat them. And you were actually on that roster as well, so what's your expectations for that best of one later?
Oof, it's going to be definitely exciting. Like, Avantgarde is a really strong team. They like to do these pretty crazy things at CT where they just, without any information, they go 3 or 4 people to one bump site. So let's see how that is going to pan out. I think we're prepared. Our coach has been studying hard during these days, so it's going to be a tough game. Like, who knows? Maybe it's game time, maybe it's not.
Maybe it's not. I feel like you're going to try and shut him down straight away. You did mention your coach, Lom. Am I saying that right, or is it Lomme?
Lomme, yeah.
Lomme. So he's just joined from Tricked alongside with Borup. Do they have quite a close relationship? How's he fitting into the team, Lomme?
Honestly, I've known Frederick for a long time. He's a teammate of me for a very long time with his roommate Glaze as well. So I know him on a personal level, and he's very good at like reading into the game. He's a very analytical coach, but he's also good at just making some fun, making jokes, making people feel comfortable around all this crazy environment that it could be being at these tournaments. And he has tons of experience going all the way back to 1.6. So he's definitely a big asset to the team, and maybe he doesn't get the credit that he deserves because he's also been on the journey for a little before me, and they have really evolved, I feel like, since he's joined the roster.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us, Caden. You have to go and get ready with your team to face Avantgarde later, although maybe you want to keep your headset on, because Potter is going to break down what went wrong earlier when you had that advantage after taking out that stack that Hard Legion were trying to form on the B site. So yeah, so keep it tuned. But thank you so much, Casper, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Right then. That round, so it starts off on the B site. The boys from Hard Legion, they're trying to do a stack, and Heroic, they notice what's going on, they throw the molly their way, they nearly score the day, but then they don't, do they, Potter?
They don't, and you know, I wanted to just highlight this round because I appreciated the creativity coming out of SpeedAC, right? We mentioned that Legion had a very slow start in this matchup, and sometimes it tends to make your players tense up a little bit, and you're not able to really be creative when you have to worry about all the chess pieces out in the server. You have to worry about what your mates are doing. And it seems like my drawing board is actually kind of not working very well right now.
We have a clip.
We do have the clip. So if we can go onto the clip and see SpeedAC's point of view, I really appreciated this smoke to his left here. That was the MVP of the round. And of course it helps that SpeedAC had some really crisp shots, but that smoke was able to draw the attention of the Heroic guys, and then his repositioning and just understanding exactly where the rotations are going to come from, he makes it look very easy, right? And it's just because the enemies have no idea where he is, and they have to be paying attention to where that bomb is.
I think it's very interesting. I'm sorry for cutting you off there, but I think it's really cool in this round where you see Heroic have such, like the start of the round was Heroic playing perfection, like great Counter-Strike, getting the information and countering them so well. But in that 1v2 S-Attack, there was no need for him to aggro there. Like he knew they're going to get the bomb, and it's a 1v2. They should have known he was taking some damage. Maximize the chances of winning it, right?
For sure,
and I think he messed up there.
It's that LAN environment, it's the BO1, it's the first day of the tournament. That's why I said that Legion needs to embrace the fact that they're coming in here as underdogs, embrace the fact that this is a BO1, and look for those opportunities. And this was exactly that, and it's good that SpeedAC was able to capitalize on this round.
It'll be interesting to see if they can handle the stress tomorrow in that potential elimination best of 3, though, because just from looking at Sivat during some of those timeout situations between rounds as well, he did not look happy with his team. I think it's a case of his way or the highway. But will it be the highway for them tomorrow? We will find out, so make sure you stay tuned tomorrow as we enter those first lots of best of 3s. But right now, we've got another opening match best of 4, and it's going to be between Crazy and Havu. And we're going to be talking more about what to expect after this break.